The first time I met Adrian, the sky was bleeding gray, rain soaked through my jacket as I stepped into the studio, camera bag clutched like a lifeline. I remember him looking up from his laptop and smiling like he already knew me. "You must be Mira," he said, standing. "I've heard your name floating around like some kind of legend." I laughed, brushing wet hair from my face. "Legend's a stretch. I just shoot things and hope they don't suck." He tilted his head. "Modest. I like that. I should have walked away then." That's how the dangerous ones always begin, charming, warm, and a little too good at saying the right things. We worked together a few times after that. Shoots turned into coffee. Coffee turned into late-night edits. And late-night edits turned into something else. "Let me fix the lighting on that last one," Adrian said one night, his fingers flying over the keyboard as I leaned over his shoulder. "You're such a perfectionist," says the girl who edits for hours just to get the right shadow on a cheekbone. I nudged him. "That's called care, not obsession." He looked at me then. Really looked. "You care too much," he said softly. "About everything." I swallowed. "Is that a bad thing?" "No," he whispered. "It's rare." His voice dropped so low I almost didn't hear it. "Special, that's the word he used. You're special, Mira." I didn't know what to say, so I looked away. But he touched my wrist gently, like I might shatter if he pressed too hard. "Look at me." I did. And that's when he kissed me. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't messy. It was slow, intentional, like he had all the time in the world and no one else but me existed. His hands cupped my face like I was art. His lips tasted like heat and hunger and secrets. The kind of kiss that burrows inside you and stays long after it's over. I pulled back, breathless. "That's not, I know," he said, resting his forehead against mine. "But I wanted to. I've wanted to since the first day." "Adrian, you're not like the others," he said. "You're mine." And just like that, I forgot all the warnings Nina gave me. I forgot to be cautious. I forgot the feeling in my gut that said this is too much, too fast. The next day, Nina practically kicked down my door. "You kissed him?" I blinked. "How did you?" Instagram stories. "Don't play dumb. He didn't post anything." "No, but his hand was in your coffee picture, and you were wearing his hoodie." I groaned. "You're worse than the FBI. Don't dodge me." "Mira, this guy, he's not it. You've never even met him. I've heard enough. Models talk, assistants talk. He moves fast, says all the right things, then disappears." I crossed my arms. "You think I can't handle myself?" "I think you want to believe he means it." I looked away. "He said I'm special." Nina sighed, softer this time. "You are. But some people say that just to get what they want." I didn't listen. "Not really." Adrian made me feel like I mattered. Every time he touched me, I felt seen. Every time he looked at me, I felt wanted. He called in the middle of shoots just to say he missed my voice. He kissed me like he was starved for something only I could give. We spent nights tangled in sheets and whispers. He traced every inch of me with his hands, his mouth, his words. "Tell me what you're thinking," he'd say as his fingers moved over my skin. "I don't want this to end." "It won't," he promised, kissing the hollow between my collarbones. "Not unless you wanted to, liar." But I didn't know that yet. Back then, I believed him, because when someone holds you like they're terrified to lose you, you don't expect them to let go first. One night, after a session that left me breathless and folded against him like origami, I traced the scar on his shoulder. "How'd you get this?" I whispered. "Stupid mistake," he said. "I trusted someone I shouldn't have." I smiled faintly. "Guess we have that in common." He looked at me, his fingers brushing hair from my face. "I won't hurt you. You say that now." I mean it. I wanted to believe him so badly. It hurt. So I kissed him again. Slower this time. Like maybe I could seal the promise into his mouth, into his skin, into both of us. But even then, even when he whispered mine into my neck, even when his breath trembled like he meant it, even when his arms wrapped around me like a shield, something in his eyes didn't match his words. something cold, something distant, something missing. I ignored it, because if I saw the truth, I'd have to admit I was already falling, and I wasn't ready to hit the ground. You're glowing again, Nina muttered, stabbing a straw into her smoothie. Let me guess. Adrian sent you a playlist at AM and told you he dreamed about you. I smirked. No, it was 1:45. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. Mira, seriously. You're acting like he invented affection. He's different. You said that about Leo. And Kai. And I know what I said. I snapped, then softened. But Adrian, it's not just talk. He listens. He sees me. Nina raised a brow. He also keeps you a secret. We're just taking it slow. She leaned closer. You've been seeing him for 3 months and still haven't met a single one of his friends. That's not slow, Mira. That's hidden. I looked down. He says he's not ready. That people ruin good things, yeah. Especially people who already have someone. I blinked. What? Never mind, she muttered. Just be careful. But I wasn't. I let him take me to this secluded cabin for the weekend. No service, no distractions, just him, a fire and wine that tasted like melted velvet. He pressed kisses to my bare shoulder and whispered, I don't bring just anyone here. I smiled against his chest. Why me? You don't ask for more than I can give. I felt the sting, but smiled anyway. Well, maybe one day you'll want to give more. He didn't respond, just pulled me closer like silence would hide the truth. One morning, I woke up alone in his bed. Sunlight poured in like it was trying to blind me. I stretched, reached for his shirt, and padded barefoot to the bathroom. That's when I saw them, a pair of silver hoop earrings sitting on his dresser. Not mine, definitely not mine. I froze, stared at them like they'd jump up and slap me. He walked. In a second later, hair wet from the shower, towel low on his hips. Morning, beautiful, he said, leaning in to kiss me. I stepped back. Whose are those? He followed my gaze, barely blinking. Oh, Lana's probably. My stomach dropped. Lana, old friend. She left them last week when she crashed after a shoot. I blinked slowly. She slept here? I didn't say that, Adrian, he sighed. You're reading too much into this. No, I'm finally reading it correctly. That night, I sat at the bar with Dean, Adrian's closest friend I'd met exactly once. Dean nursed a drink and wouldn't meet my eyes. Did you know about her? I asked quietly. He didn't answer right away. Dean, he sighed. It's not my business, then make it mine. Please. He looked around, then leaned in. He doesn't do relationships, Mira. You're not the first. My throat tightened. So I'm just another name? No, you're the one who stayed this long. I walked home in the rain. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just wet and cold and humiliated. By the time I got back to my apartment, I was shaking. Nina opened the door in her pajamas. What happened? I pushed past her and dropped onto the couch. I found earrings. She blinked. Wait, seriously? Her name's Lana, the model? I nodded. She rubbed her temples. Mira, I told you I didn't want to believe it. I whispered. Did he lie? He didn't even try. Just acted like it was normal. Like I was crazy for reacting. Nina sat beside me, pulled a blanket over my shoulders. You're not crazy. He is. I leaned into her. I gave him everything. Time, trust. Me. I know, she said softly. And you deserved better. Later that night, he texted, Adrian, you left your lens cap here. Adrian, are you okay? Adrian, don't let this ruin what we have. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. What we have. I dropped my phone face down and walked into the kitchen. I wasn't hungry, just numb. 2 hours later, he showed up at my door. Mira, open up. Nina stood by the window. Want me to throw something at him? I'll handle it. I stepped outside, arms crossed. He looked almost apologetic. Can we talk? Talk, I said flatly. It wasn't like that with Lana. She's just complicated. We used to be something, but not anymore. Then why are her earrings in your apartment? I forgot they were there. That doesn't change what it meant. Mira, I care about you. You know that, I laughed. You care about how I make you feel. Not about me, he frowned. That's not true, then prove it. Delete her number. Introduce me to your friends. Show me I'm not a secret. He hesitated. That hesitation was louder than any confession. I shook my head. That's what I thought. I turned away. He didn't follow. Back inside, I sat on my bed while Nina made tea. You okay? She asked from the doorway. I stared at the wall. No, but I will be. She nodded. Good. That night, I slept in my own bed for the first time in weeks. Alone. And somehow, that felt safer than ever being with him. He didn't even flinch. Adrian, I said, standing in his doorway, fists clenched. You could at least lie. He ran a hand through his hair, looked bored. Why would I lie? It wasn't serious. My chest tightened. Not serious? You called me yours. I was caught up. You knew what this was. No, I whispered. I didn't. He shrugged like it meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. I stared at him, waiting, hoping for something to change in his eyes. Guilt, regret, anything, but all I saw was indifference. You don't even care, do you? I care, he said calmly, just not in the way you wanted. I took a slow breath. Then why make me believe you did? I didn't ask you to, I laughed. Bitter, right? You just kissed me, took me away, called me special, made love to me like I mattered. He stood silent. I was never real to you, Mira. No, don't. He reached for me. I stepped back. This is over, I said. You don't get to touch me again. Outside, I stood in the rain without moving. It soaked through my sweater, but I didn't feel cold. Just hollow. I walked. No direction. Just away. By the time I reached home, my hands were shaking. Nina opened the door, took one look at me, and pulled me inside. What happened? He said it wasn't serious. She blinked. Wait, what? Those were his exact words. Her mouth dropped open. You're kidding. I wish I was. I dropped my bag on the floor and sank into the couch. He didn't even pretend. Nina sat beside me, furious. Want me to slash his tires? I cracked the tiniest smile. You'd get arrested. Worth it. I reached for my phone. I need to delete everything. Wait, do you want to? I need to. I opened the photo album, deleted one after another. His smile, his bed, his fingers in my hair. Gone, except one. She noticed. Why keep that one? It's the only one where he's holding me but not smiling. She frowned. So, that's the real him. I stayed up all night. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. My heart throbbed like it had cracked open. I found myself in the bathroom, staring at my reflection. Red eyes, blotchy skin. But the pain ran deeper than anything I could see. Nina hovered near the door. You need to rest. I need to scream. Then scream. I did. Loud, ugly, shaking sobs that left my throat raw. I collapsed to the floor and she caught me. She held me while I broke. It's not your fault, she whispered. He's broken. So am I. No. He cracked you. You're not broken. I buried my face in her lap and cried harder. The next morning, I packed a small bag and left the city. Where are you going? Nina asked, half asleep. I need air. You want me to come? I shook my head. I need to see someone. My Aunt Alina lived 2 towns over. A small cottage, garden full of lavender. She opened the door, saw my face, and said nothing. She just opened her arms. I collapsed into them. Hours passed before we spoke. We sat on the porch, tea in hand, the silence. Soft and kind. Tell me, she finally said. I did everything. She didn't interrupt. Just listened. When I was done, I asked, why do I always fall for men who don't choose me? She took a breath. Because you believe in people's potential. You see what they could be, not what they are. I blinked. So I set myself up. No, you gave someone the chance to rise to your level. He failed. I looked down. It still hurts. I know, she said gently. But that pain? It means your heart's still good. Tears welled up again. I don't want to be soft anymore. You don't have to stop being soft, she said. You just have to stop giving your softness to the undeserving. That night, I looked at myself in the mirror again, same eyes, same face, but something had changed. I wasn't crying, I wasn't begging for answers. I stared at my reflection and whispered, "Never again." I meant it. I erased him, deleted his number, blocked his socials, burned the old hoodie he left at my place, got a new phone, new email, new name. Mira Reyes is officially dead, I told Nina as she watched me chop 6 inches off my hair. She raised a brow. Dramatic, no, I said. Necessary. I became Mia Carter. Quiet freelancer. Mostly event gigs. No attachments. No risks. You sure you don't want to torch his car instead? Nina asked one night as I edited in silence. Too easy. You scare me when you're calm like this. Good. 3 months passed. No texts. No whispers. Just silence. I thought I was free. Then Nina slammed her phone on the table. You might want to sit for this. What now? Adrian. He's got a new gallery exhibit, so he's using your photos, the ones you shot, the ones you edited. He's calling it unfiltered intimacy. I stared at her. Show me. She held out the phone. There they were, the shots we took that weekend. My lighting, my signature crop, my stolen art. I felt something crack in my chest. I never gave him permission. He stole your work, she said. Again, I swallowed the burn in my throat. Then it's time someone stole something back. I found Julian online, gallery owner, curator, clean reputation. I emailed him under a fake name. 2 days later, I walked into his office, portfolio in hand, heart racing. You're not who you said you were, Julian said the moment I sat down. My stomach dropped. Excuse me, he smirked. I checked metadata on your portfolio. Mira Reyes, I stiffened. If that's a problem, I'll leave. He shook his head. No, I'm glad you came. Why? Because I never liked Adrian. And I hate being used. I narrowed my eyes. What did he do to you? Sold me a show full of lies. Said they were his original pieces. He didn't credit anyone. I pulled out a flash drive and slid it across the table. You want proof? Every original file, every timestamp, every reversion, all mine. He plugged it in, reviewed everything. Damn, he muttered. He really thought he could get away with this? He always does. Julian looked up. So what do you want, Mira? I smiled. Let him think he won, and then take everything. The plan was simple. I would remain anonymous. Let the exhibit go live. Let the press build him up. Let the world believe his lie. Then, just before opening night, drop the bomb. Julian looped in his assistant, Leah. He's a user, she said, as we met in a back room. You're not the first girl he's taken credit from. My chest tightened. You knew? I warned him once. He laughed. Of course he did. Leah leaned in. Let's make him eat that laugh. 2 weeks later, the gallery buzzed with energy. I walked in unnoticed, dressed in black, camera slung over my shoulder like armor. He stood by the main wall, soaking in praise. Adrian, this is your best work. Adrian, how did you capture that much emotion? He smiled, smug, polished. I wanted to scream. Instead, I smiled and walked right past him. He didn't even recognize me. Backstage, Julian handed me a sealed envelope. Press release? I nodded. And legal notice? He chuckled. You're colder than I expected. I'm tired of being soft. He studied me. What happens after this? I start over. For real this time. I walked back onto the floor and stood by my photos. He turned, eyes locking on mine. Mira, I tilted my head. You didn't expect to see me? He looked nervous. I thought you left. I did. Just not far enough. He shifted. Look, I didn't know you'd care. You're using my work. I didn't put your name on it exactly. His jaw clenched. Why? Are you here? To congratulate you. He blinked. What? You've peaked. This is the last time anyone will call you original. I walked away before he could speak again. That night, the press release went live. Photographer accuses Artist Adrian Hart of plagiarism provides raw evidence of theft. The internet exploded, his sponsors pulled out, the gallery issued a formal apology, and the next day, I got an email from a major agency. We saw your work. We'd love to feature you. Still don't want to slash his tires? Nina teased. Scrolling through Twitter, I smiled. No, I want him to sit in the silence. You're terrifying. Only when I need to be. Adrian never reached out again. Not to apologize. Not to deny. He just vanished, like I did. The difference was, I came back stronger. He won't. I walked into the gallery wearing red. Not just any red, that red. The one that says, I remember who I am now. Lips to match. Chin up. Eyes steady. The air shifted the moment I stepped in. And then I saw him. Adrian turned, eyes landing on me like I'd just punched the breath from his lungs. Mira? I didn't flinch. You look surprised, I thought. You left the city, I smiled. Guess I wasn't done being used, he blinked. That's not fair, isn't it? He took a cautious step closer. You look different. I am different. The exhibit was still up. My photos still on the walls. His name still plastered beneath them. He cleared his throat. I've been meaning to reach out, don't lie. It's rude, Mira, no. Let's not pretend this didn't happen. You stole my work, lied to the press, got rich off my art. I didn't get rich, oh. So you emotionally profited. My mistake. He laughed softly, like he thought charm still worked on me. You know, I missed you. I tilted my head. Did you? Every day. Funny. I don't remember you saying that when you were handing out my photos. Like party favors. He looked down. I screwed up. Yeah, you did. I turned to leave. Mira, wait, he said. Can we just talk? About what? About us. About everything. I paused. Just long enough. He took the bait, please. Come to the after party tonight. No cameras. No gallery people. Just us. I hesitated. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I already knew exactly what I'd do. Julian leaned against the bar later that night, watching me swirl wine in a glass I wasn't drinking. You sure about this? He asked. Yes, he's going to fall for it. That's the idea. Julian raised a brow. You don't have to do this, Mira. He's already exposed. No, I whispered. Not publicly. Adrian found me near the rooftop terrace. You came, he said, relief soft in his voice. Don't get used to it, he smiled. I deserved that. We stood in silence, the city lights blinking beneath us. I want to explain, he said. I let him. I was lost. I panicked. I didn't think the exhibit would get attention. And when it did, I didn't know how to tell the truth without losing everything. Sounds exhausting. It was. I turned to him. But you enjoyed the spotlight, didn't you? He didn't answer. The music slowed. He offered his hand. I took it, because sometimes revenge requires rhythm. He pulled me closer than necessary. You still feel the same, he whispered against my temple. No, I said softly. I feel smarter now. He didn't get the joke. At midnight, he kissed me, soft, careful, like he thought it still meant something, and I let him. Because sometimes closure looks like surrender, but mine was wrapped in strategy. The next morning, he woke up to chaos. The gallery issued a second press release. Exhibit pulled amidst fraud allegations. Anonymous source provides proof of plagiarism. I forwarded it to him before he could text me. His call came in 30 seconds later. You did this, I answered with a smile in my voice. Surprised? I trusted you. You trusted me? You kissed me, and you stole from me. He was quiet, breathing hard. You played me. No, I said. I let you play yourself. I just held up a mirror. Mira, I don't need an apology. I'm ruined. Good. Nina picked me up later that day. You really kissed him? Yep. Like full lips to lips kiss? With tongue, she gagged. You deserve an award. I leaned back in the seat. He gave me everything I needed, which was his arrogance, his silence, his belief that I was still soft. Nina grinned. So what now? Now, I looked out the window. Now I make art no one can steal, Julian called that evening. He just tried to sue the gallery. I laughed. Of course he did. You okay? I'm better than. Okay. You're dangerous, Mira. I'm finally me. That night, I stood in front of my mirror, bare face. No red lips, no armor. I whispered, never again. But this time, it wasn't a plea. It was a promise. My phone buzzed. Adrian, why are you doing this? I loved you. I stared at it, then scrolled up. Our last text before he ghosted me was, "You're too intense." I didn't reply with words, just a photo. The one he'd printed for the exhibit. Only this time I signed it. In the corner, bold ink, my name. A minute later, Adrian, please, just one chance. Let me explain. Same place? I didn't need to ask where. He meant the bridge, the one with the graffiti-covered bench. The place he first kissed me, told me I made the world look better. Sure, let's ruin that memory too. I found him pacing by the water, hoodie up, hands shoved deep into his pockets like he could disappear into himself. You came, he said, voice wrecked. I was curious what a downfall sounds like. He winced. You're angry. I was, I said. Now I'm just done. He sat. I didn't. The gallery pulled everything. The sponsors are threatening to sue. I'm being dragged through the press. You earned that. I didn't know it'd go this far. I laughed once. You didn't think it would ever go far. You thought I'd stay quiet. I didn't think you'd want revenge. I didn't, I said. I wanted closure. But you left me with open wounds and stolen credit. He looked up at me. You don't understand what it was like growing up with nothing. I had to fight for scraps. I had to prove myself in a world that never looked my way. Oh, so you stole because life was unfair to you? He kept going. My dad left. My mom drank. I never felt enough. And then you came in bright and focused and good, and I panicked. I thought if I couldn't keep you, maybe I could keep a piece of you. You mean my work? I know it was wrong. You don't know. You got caught. He rubbed his hands together. You were the only real thing. I crossed my arms. Funny, I thought that's what I was to you too. Real, you were. That's why it hurts. I stepped closer. Yeah, that's what makes this hurt, doesn't it? I was real. And you weren't. He looked up fast. I was, I swear. Maybe not always, but with you, I wanted to be better. You wanted to feel better, not be better. He looked away. Do you remember what you said here the first time? I asked. He nodded slowly. That you made things look beautiful, and I believed it. I thought you saw me, not just the art. Me, I did. He whispered. No, you saw what you could take from me. That's not love. Silence. Then he whispered, do you think I'm a monster? I studied him. This version bent, small, stripped of ego. And no, he didn't look like a monster, just a boy who never learned how to stop breaking things before. They broke him back. No, I said. I think you're pathetic. There's a difference. His jaw clenched. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did. And now you want a story to make it okay. You want me to sit here and say I understand, forgive, feel sorry. I don't want your pity. You don't get anything from me anymore. I finally sat down beside him, just long enough to say it. You think this is the worst part? I asked. Losing the gallery, the press, the fame. He looked at me, eyes glossy. Isn't it? No, the worst part is this moment, when you realize I meant it when I said goodbye. I stood. He grabbed my wrist. Please. I pulled free. He didn't chase me, because deep down, he knew I was already gone. The wind was cold walking back, but my spine? Steel. For the first time in months, I didn't look over my shoulder. I didn't wonder if he'd call, or beg, or post some tragic quote online. Let him break. Alone, right where he first pretended to love me. A cream envelope slid through my mail slot this morning. Same handwriting, same desperate loop in the M. He still can't stop calling me Muse. I didn't open it. The first time he wrote, I read every line. Forgive me, we were soulmates. You made me better. Now, I just tossed them in a drawer, next to the dried rose, the apology necklace, the sketch of me he never asked permission to draw. More mail? Nina asked, eyeing the envelope. I nodded. He's trying again, ugh. Did he sign this one forever yours again? Probably. She leaned against the counter. It's wild. He still thinks you're the one who got away. No, I said, sipping my coffee. I'm the one who escaped. I didn't move on to someone new. No rebound. No messy dates to prove I was fine. I moved on to someone else entirely me, the real version, the one he tried to erase with compliments and manipulation. I started working with survivors last month, not just taking photos, telling stories that mattered. The woman in today's shoot had a scar that ran from her eyebrow to her chin. When I asked if she wanted me to hide it in post, she looked straight at my lens and said, "No, I want the world to see I lived." That night, my phone buzzed, unknown number. I almost ignored it until I saw the text, "Sasha. Hi. I got your name from a support group. I think he did to me what he did to you." I stared at it. My fingers trembled. Not from fear but fury. I texted back. "His name was Adrian, right?" She replied instantly. "Yes, I have proof. Emails, photos." He said I was his only light. I swallowed hard. Same script. Sasha called me later that night. "I'm sorry to reach out like this," she said softly. "No, I'm glad you did. You're not alone." She took a shaky breath. "He made me feel so seen. But everything he touched, he twisted." "Yeah," I said. "He's good at pretending love." "I found articles about you," she said. "They didn't say your name, but I recognized the photo. The one he used without credit. That photo wasn't his to take," I whispered. None of us were. By morning, 2 more women had come forward. One tagged me in a post. "He stole more than our hearts. He stole our voices." The media caught wind fast. My phone buzzed again. "Reporter, we'd love your statement regarding Adrian Keller's misconduct." I thought for a second, then typed, "Sometimes karma doesn't scream. She just waits." Nina read it over my shoulder. "Damn. Cold." "No," I said. "Accurate." That evening, another gift arrived. A framed photo of us, smiling, except it wasn't us. It was me, smiling, and him, watching me like I was something he owned. I threw it out. Later that week, Sasha sent me a message. "You helped me speak." "Thank you," I replied. "No, you helped yourself. I just stood next to you." She asked if I'd take her portrait. I said yes, because that's what healing looks like. Not closure, not forgiveness, but reclaiming the frame, one photo at a time. "I don't think I've ever seen you this still," Nina whispered, nudging my elbow. "I'm terrified." I whispered back. She grinned. "You're glowing." I turned slightly. The wall in front of me was white, clean, quiet. Then there was my name, Mira Hale, in bold, in light, not under his, not beneath his shadow. Just mine. "People are crying," Nina said. That one woman stared at Rebuild for a full 10 minutes. I smiled. She probably saw herself. Nina looked around. "They all do. That's the thing. This isn't just an exhibit. It's a mirror." "Funny," I said. "I spent so long trying to be invisible. Now you're unforgettable." Julian found me by the corner. "You broke records tonight," he said. "The gallery hasn't seen this much press since that Basquiat reprint." I laughed. "Don't say that. I might pass out." "I'm serious," he said. "There's a waiting list for private commissions." "You ready for the next show?" I exhaled. "Not yet. I just want to stand here for a little while longer." He smiled and slipped a card into my palm. "When you are, you know where to find me." Leah raised her glass near the refreshments. To being enough, I lifted mine. To finally knowing it. Later, I stood alone near the center frame. A broken mirror caught mid-shatter. My reflection stretched, bent, refracted, but not destroyed. I reached up, touched the glass lightly. She said it reminded her of her divorce. Someone whispered behind me. The way it hurt but still showed who she was. I didn't turn. Just let the words wash over me like quiet waves. Then, I felt it. eyes, a heat down my spine, a silence I knew too well. I turned and I saw him, or I think I did, same posture, same stupid leather jacket, standing in the far corner under a photograph of Sasha holding her burn scars like medals, but by the time I blinked, gone. Nina appeared beside me. Did you just see? I'm not sure, I said. She looked at me. Do you want to be? No, I stepped closer to the mirror again. My image danced across the cracks. I was always enough, I whispered, and I meant it. He told me I was special. He said it like a compliment, but he meant it like a warning, like something to contain. I was never his canvas, never his muse. I was the artist. And now, I had a room full of proof. Nina came back with another glass of wine. Someone wants to interview you for a Women in Art podcast. I took the glass. Tell them I'll do it, she grinned. That's my girl. I stared at the last frame one more time, my hand holding a camera, my reflection in the lens. Strong, focused, whole, funny, I murmured. He took pictures to forget. I take them to remember. Nina bumped her shoulder into mine. You ready? Almost. Before I left, I touched the mirror again. He said I was special, I whispered. And he was right. He just didn't deserve me. I walked out without looking back. The gallery doors closed behind me, but I didn't need them open. I carried everything I needed inside me now.